war goddess. The original. And we never formalized the union, but, yeah.
Mason silently soaked in that information and tried to reconcile it with the man she'd known for years, who'd been her mentor and her coach and her friend. In fact, it wasn't so hard. It actually made a strange kind of sense. "What happened?" she asked. Toby laced his fingers together and stared ahead of them into the mists.
Falling in love when you're a goddess is complicated. At least, it was with Belle. She was immortal, for one thing, and I guess she didn't want to lose me because I wasn't, so she made me immortal too. Sometimes I think I was a coward for letting her.
"A coward? Are you serious?" Mason said. Toby was one of the bravest men she knew.
I didn't want to die, Mace. I was afraid to.
He shrugged, but there was a gravelly hitch in his voice as he said,
"Now, I would give anything, to make an end of it."
Mason flinched from the raw pain in that admission, but she appreciated Toby's honesty, his openness in the face of all the lies she'd been told by others. She could sense Fennrys silently listening to the exchange as he sat beside Toby, who clearly didn't mind him knowing. "Professor Leggett taught us that in Julius Caesar, Shakespeare says, 'Cowards die many times before their death. The valiant never taste of death but once,'" Mason said. Does that mean I'm—" She trailed off, and Toby raised an eyebrow at her.
"Does that mean you're what?"
Fennrys shook his head, smiling grimly.
"She means, are we cowards?"
Mason ducked her head. "Are we? Think about it. We keep dying, right?" But Toby just laughed.
"I don't think that's exactly what old Bill meant."
"Mason,
I think he meant that if you're afraid to die, you feel like you're dying every time things get hairy. There's death, and then there's death. And when you finally get to the latter, when we all do, I think you'll definitely taste the difference."
He exchanged a glance with Fennrys, then turned back to her.
"You're the bravest girl I've ever met, Mason Starling. Not least of all because sometimes you have the courage to be terrified."
"Thanks, Coach," he snorted.
"Especially of me."
"You got that right."
"So you really can't die?"
Fennrys asked Toby. Toby shook his head.
"Nope. That's,
For a Viking whose greatest desire was to die gloriously and live on in Valhalla, that must have been a difficult circumstance to contemplate, Mason thought. Then again, Fenn had experienced something of a perspective shift on that whole thing lately. She tightened her grip on the reins again when the carriage horse tossed his head.
"That's not all it's cracked up to be."
Toby's expression soured.
"You know those cautionary tales about scatterbrained goddesses granting eternal life, but not eternal youth?"
Fennrys nodded.